all the remunerations
I
that they're
think if
supposed to
you're
be getting.
not worth your weight in the office in which you've been given a task, then get out.
Right.
That's what I think. But very quickly close off. So this irregular allowances are paid regularly with basic salaries, while non-regular allowances are
Mm-hmm.
paid as at when due. For instance, furniture,
Six
6
million.
million. Severance gratuity, 6 million. And they are paid once in every 10 years. While motor vehicle loan, is it a loan? It's not a loan. I dare say it's not a loan. 8 million, because I'd like to know how many of them have paid it back, given that these people can't even pay back their parking tickets. So it's the whole thing is ridiculous. I don't know why the RMFAC felt the need to actually say that they say it's to allay the fears and to get rid of the rumors that's going on around. But they also then go on to say to close this off. RMAFC also is to use this opportunity to state that any other payments enjoyed by any political or public office holder outside those provided in the Remuneration Act of 2008 is not known to the Commission, and the Chief Accounting Officer of the agencies concerned should explain it. Pardon?
Well,
What was the point in the first
You
place?
could look at it from this point of view. Their commission is to allocate the commission, state what the prices are. They don't expressly pay it out, which is probably why they're asking the accountant general. We've set this
okay.
as the amount. Why are you paying out
Accountant General is
13.5?
We
We
wouldn't
would
know.
know.
absolutely.
How
We
did
didn't know.
they not know this
This
all this time?
exactly.
Because their job stops at providing how
Then they
much.
shouldn't be making any comments.
Right,
They
but
shouldn't say anything because they don't. If they're saying they don't know, they don't know.
troubling
Well,
stuff. Troubling
It's
stuff.
troubling. They're lying.
You can
I
go
put it
to
out to Lagos.
you
They're
can
lying.
go
They do
Lying.
know. You're lying.
Lagos, you can go to the website www.rmafc.gov.ng if you would like to see the breakdown for yourself and all those details. And if you have complaints to make, you see, this is why you should know who your constituents are, who's representing your area. Please report. Let's move on though. For me, up next, WAEC Senate inaugurates committee to investigate recurring mass failure, as though it is a mystery. This is in from the Vanguard newspaper, and we see that according to the results, year in, year out, the number of students who are achieving basic math and math English has declined quite dramatically. We have one senator here, Senator Emmanuel Porker, who said that the situation called for grave concern, saying, listen, what is the curriculum? Is it really a curriculum we should be looking at here? Should we not be asking what's been appointed for the entire sector? Should we not be reviewing the
Exactly.
teachers?
They should go back to the past budgets they've been passing,
Thank you.
and they should look at what percentage of the budget has into the education sector. I mean, some things are not that difficult. You don't need a committee, you don't need a series of meetings to know that if you don't pump money in education, nothing is going to come out of it. So they complain about the quality of the teachers, and I'm wondering, so when you fix a particular amount of salary for teachers, how are you supposed to get people to be interested in teaching,
And also
except they want to do it pro bono?
And how often have we seen the Senate or the National Assembly push for a higher education budgets? We've seen them push for their constituency budgets.
Yes,
We've seen them
they
push for all these
so
little
many
things.
They prefer to do it this way. Set up committees. Let's talk English. Let's find out what the problem is. Why are people failing maths and English? When it comes to the hard work of actually putting money in the education sector, that is where the work is. Everybody know. I mean, Bill Gates came to tell us, but it's something we've known for years. This is the problem. You need to put money in those sectors for you to get the benefit of it. And while on the issue, I know that this is supposed to be the federal issue, but let's take the example of what's happening today, tomorrow. I mean, our president is coming to commission a bus station.
A bus stop. A bus stop.
It's a bus
Excuse
stop.
me, it's a terminal.
Oh, sorry. Okay, sorry,
It's a
sorry.
whole
And
terminal.
Terminal is a bus
And I've
stop.
heard the amount of billions that have been put into that. And I'm wondering, I'm guessing that it will be a lot cheaper for Lagos State government to, for instance, get a couple of computers, put it to the schools. It doesn't even have to be, before we train, get competent youths that know about coding. Everybody is screaming coding. Get competent youths to go that know about coding, to pick a day of the week, go train. It's going to cost probably a whole lot cheaper than that bus stop
Right.
that we're coming to
And
commission.
what's very interesting is that we are commissioning such quote unquote state of the art things. Who's
Yes.
going to work there?
I-
Are they
Apart
up to
from
the
working,
level?
you know, well, when I first saw the pictures and people were talking about maintenance, I was like, it goes without saying that it's not going to be maintained. Because if you want to develop infrastructure, you allow the people to develop the infrastructure. When you build the people, then the people build the infrastructure. But when you're building structures that are too high-minded for the people because you've not built the people, of course it's not going to be maintained.
I just want to throw in this thing as Senator Biodun Olujimi was talking about evaluating the entire value chain of education, and then she also mentioned
Absolutely.
the teachers, right? And you've already mentioned it. So in light of this, what do you guys bringing El Rufai's activities with the teachers there? Does this highlight this?
Oh,
Or, you know?
I totally support what El Rufai did. I think you did as well. For me,
Yes.
but for me, I mean, maybe from the legal angle, yes.
It was the whole bureaucracy involving civil service and how you have to take steps with the civil service. But in terms of the general idea of retraining a teacher,
A total overhaul.
A total overhaul is needed. And then we hear also that he intends to spend more money on teacher salaries
and training the new teachers
It's all
and
about the
equipping
money.
them.
It's not about setting committees to
And
speak.
real quick, and Kingsley Moghalu, who's running for president, says that he will increase the education budget to 20% of the entire budget. It's like 6 to 7% now.
But
just
you
to put that out
can
there.
increase that if you don't spend it properly and implement it properly. You might
There's
as well.
also a waste.
Right.
Yes,
And outside
it's a
of that,
waste.
can we have all our civil servants sending their children to public schools?
Ooh.
Absolutely,
Follow
absolutely.
this table you're shaking right now.
Yes.
This is we are shaking. Some people are standing on
All
it.
civil servants should send their children to public schools.
Absolutely.
And should use public utilities and the regular roads that are not closed down.
Mr. President, I hope you're listening to us this morning.
Keep it moving. Slight shade there. But for the Vanguard newspaper, up next, the National Assembly passes the new PIGB, stipulating a 5% levy on petrol. It does cause eyebrows to raise because two chambers of the National Assembly, both the chambers actually yesterday considered and approved the Conference Committee report on the Petroleum Industry and Governance Bill, the new framework to regulate the country's petroleum sector. So the new framework imposes a 5% levy on fuel sold across the country. It seeks to consolidate a number of the arms of the NNPC and remove others. It says that this 5% levy will be used to finance the Petroleum Equalization Fund as established under the bill. But where's this 5% coming from?
That's the my point. Reuters and I were just discussing
I
it.
still don't understand
So
it.
they want to add the 5% onto the pump price. I'm not having
That's
none
what
of
it feels
it.
like.
No, it's not what it feels. I think that's what they're intending to do.
In a very roundabout way.
Yes, I'm not having none of it. I think it's a load of nonsense. You do not need to create a whole new body, for instance. You can collapse all of those bodies into one. That's not going to cost money because guess what? You already have administrative cost that's already been allocated to you. So why do you need to charge me an extra 5%? What did you work it out to be? Rota 7 naira.
About 7 naira.
7 naira. 7. Yeah. I'm not having. I'll become a Shaolin monk and just give them a taekwondo backflip. It's not happening. We are not going for this. It can't be justified.
Well, okay. If you listen to Business Express, I don't have to out myself here. I want the petrol. The petrol price I think needs to be liberated. Yeah, because
yes,
you know the federal government
I totally
has a cap
agree. Yes,
on
it
that,
does.
right?
Yes, it does.
Right. So if it was liberated, you would be able to make more money from taxing it if you needed to, as opposed to what's being implemented right now. I mean. The thing is, many people would feel like I don't know how.
I get what you're saying. No, I totally agree with the liberalizing the whole industry.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that. With regards to taxes about them, they are the ones that's going to make money. But however, we must always remember that this is our commonwealth. Right? Mine, yours, and everybody else is out there. So we have made them the custodians to manage it properly for us, to make sure that we still get the benefits. Right? So the problem. And I always refer to what people say. When you learn from people, honestly, you really must refer back to what they say. Don't claim it to be your own. When Cheta was on here and we had a discussion about this PIB, this was some months ago, maybe last year, the year before, and he said, look, it's not about subsidizing. Subsidizing isn't the issue. It's at the point by which you subsidize that's the issue. Okay, so you're subsidizing at the back end or at the front end rather, where you should be subsidizing. No, subsidizing at the back end, and therein lies the issue. So stop using the excuse to actually levy me. What I don't even have, that's enough. It's not even enough what I have in my pocket. And yet you want to take it away? How dare you?
Thank you very much, Mr. Ireti. Keep sending in your messages. Our hashtag is freshlypressed981. Use the hashtag up on Twitter. We will tweet the WhatsApp number to you as well, and we'll be taking your messages in just a few minutes. But let's quickly jump on to the Daily Times. Rep stop the Ajaokuta Steel concession and propose $1 billion $1 billion US.
Yes. 363 billion naira.
Thank you. To complete the complex. Now, they've passed successfully 2 bills halting the concession of Ajaokuta Steel, proposing the expenditure of $1 billion by the federal government. This is meant to come out of our excess crude account. Once more, touching what should be savings sort of for a rainy day. We love sharing what is in there. We don't know how to leave it alone. And what guarantee is there that this money which they've resolved to use will actually be used? Because Ajaokuta Steel is a nightmare story.
Oh yeah, they told the minister that he must use it for what they say she used it for. But my question first and foremost is, when I saw, sorry, but complex have a different technical term for what complex is. What I like, built office structures. But I had to think that, no, in the steel industry, maybe complex has a more technical, because if they're using $1 billion to build the complex we've not even decided what we want to do with the Ajaokuta Steel. As it is, they've stopped concession. So what is the plan? They've not told us what the plan is. Yet we're spending $1 billion to build.
I think it's
complex has
a different meaning.
Exactly. And I think you're totally right. I think at this point it's actually worth them again representing the original, whatever the plan was for Ajaokuta.
Exactly.
What was it meant to do? Okay, we know you messed up in between, as you often do, but what is it that you're planning to do now before you spend another $1 billion? Because what are you spending $1 billion on? Yet again, I'm always asking the question. On what? On what?
Messages on WhatsApp. Use the hashtag FreshlyPress981 if you're on Twitter. This one's from Larry. It says these lawmakers have been deliberately running education down since 1999. Now they are wondering why all the mass failures. By the way, same for health, power, and other infrastructure.
Absolutely.
Larry, thank you. Kaude says Lagos State is shut down for President's Commission Motor Park. Yinka says building, the government does not develop capacity, and yet Ambode went on to build a world-class bus terminal, and that Buhari left Abuja to come commission. So I begin to wonder, if my president can leave Abuja to come commission a bus stop, then what then should a local government chairman commission?
Bingo.
Same governments that dualize the road and they come to commission as if it's not their job to do it in the first place. I'm sorry for
LSG,
yeah. So Big T says penalty for stealing public funds in China is death.
Yeah.
Why don't we try that?
Oh, what?
Yinka,
He continues.
I'm with you, boyfriend.
He says also, let's remove all the salaries for the president, the vice, and all senators. Let's attract only people who want to serve. Also put in place single 5-year term for all public officers.
Yeah.
Very quickly, we'll continue. So we'll go to this next story from the pages of the Punch. The court orders Abaribe, 2 others, to produce Kanu June 26. So Justice Binta Nyako of the Federal High Court in Abuja on Wednesday ordered the senator representing Abia South in the Senate, Naya Abaribe, and 2 others to produce the missing leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, in court on June 26th in a rather interesting session at the court. Now, the prosecution, was actually led by Mr. Shuaibu Labran of the Department of Public Prosecutions at the Federal Ministry of Justice, said that since Abaribe did not present Nnamdi Kanu, and since he's been absent from court all this time, that the court really should get them to forfeit their bail bond and face possible jail terms since they've been flouting these court orders. Funmi?
Yeah, so this is how shorty works in Nigeria so be careful when you stand shorty for
100 million naira bond.
So the court fixes a bail bond, and the purpose of the bail bond is you get to forfeit that money if you're unable to produce the accused person every time he's needed in court. And so this is a regular bail bond shorty situation. But what makes this slightly irregular is we all know the drama that surrounded the disappearance of Nnamdi Kanu. It did not, as it stands right now, as a nation, we don't know what's happening to him. We don't know if he's been killed. We don't know if he truly escaped. So the fact that this is not the regular jumping bail, the regular defendant just disappeared. It was actually an act carried out by our army, our military. It sort of puts the entire, not the regular bail bond process. So it will be interesting to see the arguments that we put forward in respect of, it wasn't my fault that this man disappeared.
Let's see.
Ask the prosecution, ask the government what they did with him.
Yes, but
June 26th. We'll see how that
yes,
comes up.
yes, but as surety, whether it was not about whether it's your fault, you have an obligation to know where you're.
You have an obligation to produce
to know exactly, and also to know where he is.
That's why I said it's a bit. This is
it's a bit dicey.
Yes,
Yeah,
when the same government that is prosecuting him after he's been granted bail invades.
Person does not show up in court, you be the next person.
The next person.
But
that's the regular.
My point is still that you have a responsibility to report to the police, actually, in the case where you can't find the person that
you cannot test his whereabouts.
You can't. Thank you. You have a responsibility.
Sure.
So as of the time when
the application to be discharged as shortest because of
okay,
the whole
there you go then. Yeah, there you go.
So let's check out the pages of Punch actually to check out details. Now the next one is from Daily Times. Suspect escape. IGP removes Kogi Commissioner of Police. Appoint new one. So the Inspector General of Police, Ibrahim Idris, has removed the Commissioner of Police of the Kogi State Command, Mr. Ali Janga, and replaced him with another officer following a jailbreak in the state that led to the disappearance of 6 suspects from prison custody. We heard among those actually that were arrested, the 6 suspects included 2 men who last week accused Dino Malai as being one of the persons who funded them. Talk about the story about him accosting them along the airport road and giving them AK-47 rifles. All these allegations Dino Malai denied and said is wrong, and it's something that stories.
Well, it says it's false.
Put together, yeah, of course.
It says it's false.
But then again, this will have been arrested. They're still there in police custody now. The IG has replaced the Kogi State Commissioner with someone else who he thinks is more credible.
Well, the IGP is clearly not happy. I mean, what to say? So, and Dilumilai is busy bouncing all over the place, including at Dangote's wedding. I would as well, knowing that some of the suspects who have accused me of supplying them arms have escaped. Of course, I'd be dancing. That's why he's busy making up, bombastic songs on the internet.
Doesn't that question the security system apparatus really?
But this is where I'm going. Of course it's that porous, for goodness sakes. Gosh, look. I mean, these are people who couldn't cage a rat. Let's be frank with each other. If your next door neighbor wants your rats to escape, he'll just sorts them out. So, why are we surprised? I'm absolutely not surprised. And I think, and it is alleged, and I must say that we must continue to say that it is alleged, but the alleged, if it's true that, the Senator Dino Malai, did supply these people arms, I was never going to surprise that they would never make it to court. It was bound to happen. How could he afford for them to make point at him and say, "Sir, is the one that gave it to us? Yes, him. We're all in the same club. Come on." So let's go down very quickly so we can close. Police officer. This is a quote. Look at the reliction of duty and gross misconduct in the escape of the six suspects have also been transferred out of the state, and they are facing serious disciplinary action, and so they should. Now, what will happen as a result of that disciplinary action, we don't know, but I really think they should. But that they escaped, I'm not surprised. That somebody's got paid, I'm not surprised. That the next person will get paid, naturally.
Well, we'll find out.
It's Ninja.
We'll find out. There's a devil is in the details. Right? We have a message here from North.
Folu, you just cracked me up when you said we love quotes, we love sharing in there. We can't just leave it alone. That's the excess crude account. Thank you. That lightened my mood. After over an hour of being frustrated in traffic because of a birthday visit, sorry, presidential visit. And in case anybody out there doesn't know, today it's Tinubu's birthday today as well. And the president, yes,
sure is.
We will disclose it. And the president is also supposed to visit Mr. Tinubu in addition to the bus stop.
But allow me to just come in here very quickly. What most people don't know is that Buhari was supposed to have visited the state about, I think, a year ago or just after he came in. He didn't make it. There was all sorts of arrangements made, and it wasn't Tinubu's birthday at the time, and he cancelled last minute. And he does have a responsibility to actually visit Lagos State. Let's be frank about that.
So it's purely coincidence.
Yes, it's a coincidence.
It's a coincidence.
Fumi doesn't want you visiting, sir, but she don't mean it.
All right, let's move on. Let's move on, guys. We have very little time left.
ThisDay story, yeah?
Yeah, ThisDay story is next. We all knew about the meeting that was supposedly held on Tuesday, the Federal Accounts Allocation Committee meeting that had the Finance Minister, the Council General of the Federation as well, and that ended in a deadlock. It was rescheduled for Wednesday, And apparently, so far, they've actually come to sort of agreements between the federal. Now, what this means is, according to a statement from the chairman of the Commissioners for Finance Forum, Malam Mahmoud Yunusa, says everybody, the business was stalled, really. The agreement was stalled by NNPC's accounts not tallying, the figures that they quoted not tallying, really. So now I guess based on this report, they can now pay salaries before Easter.
Yes. So the deadlock has been broken, but the issue has been resolved.
So far.
Figures still don't tally. But they're like, okay, let's just share what we have so that salaries can be paid and all of that. And the Minister of Finance, Mrs. Adeosun, explained that the NNPC is a major chain of our revenue, and so from time to time there will be issues. We are going to sit with NNPC. Accounting is a process. There has to be dialogue and all of that. Yeah, accounting is a process, but accounting is also pretty certain. X naira minus Y naira.
Where
Give you a certain figure.
Yeah. So where's the difference?
So what's the difference? So I'm hoping that this will not just be another story of the kind of the EFCC. You know, that we've not heard the resolution of. You recovered this, finance minister is saying, I'm getting on with this. Now, NNPC, your figures are not tallying with mine. And particularly, NNPC is particularly very suspicious because they are shrouded in this entire cloud of mystery. And because we know how easy, look at Madame Vivian, we know how easy it is to cutter billions of dollars under the auspices of the NNPC. So I'm hoping this is not another story of
considering the fact that
paid, moved on,
exactly, pipeline vandalism has dropped, the crude oil price in the world and on the global scene has increased. So why is the money not adding up?
Exactly.
Anyway, so very quickly before we take the messages, let's move on to Punch now. Next, Lagos CJ unveils sentencing guidelines for judges and magistrates. Mr. Ireti, this story pretty much says that the Chief Judge of Lagos State Justice, Funmi Odude, Wednesday, has unveiled a new sentencing guideline for judges and magistrates, pretty much addressing the problem of prison congestion.
Well, that's what she thinks she's doing. I don't know whether she's going to end up addressing it because, I mean, right? Because firstly, I would like them to just. I'm sick and tired of them just regurgitating the same old thing again. And rather than, the hardest thing as human beings to do is actually to think out of the box and find a solution that's out of the box and actually implement that solution instead of go back to the library and like, oh, brush that one down, let's use that one again because they're just going to listen to it. Because how is she congesting by unifying the punishments imposed on convicts? How exactly is that going to decongest? Here's what they need to do: just get somebody to bring out all the files of all the
prisoners,
exactly, of those who are still awaiting trials, reassess them, brush it down, shine it, right, deal with it. This is it. You have students in the law school, okay, final year students. How about making that their final year, what do people do, project or something? Get them to, and they will enjoy it, they will learn from it, they will do the process and they will know what it's like to do it in real life. Yet, that you're going to decongest what?
Insightful idea, Mr. Ireti. Thank you. For means of mention, for the purpose of mention, really, let's take the story now, the headline only. New Telegraph, Associated Airline Crash, court awards 264 million naira compensation to Falae's son's wife. So this lady, Essay, has 3 teenage children, lost her husband, who was at the time the commissioner for Ondo State Culture and Tourism, and he died in a fatal crash at Associated Airlines back in 2013, and this has brought the case to a close. Well, thank you so very much, guys. Thanks for being part of the show today. Mr. Ireti, Bakare, and Funmi.
Bakare, Yusuf.
Thank you. There you go.
Yes, you're welcome. It was our pleasure.
All right, guys. Later, we'll be back at 8:15 for. Good morning.